My video for December 26, 2017 is entitled, A More Positive Attitude for 2018. A longtime friend responded to my holiday greeting sent out yesterday, quote, "Merry Christmas, Ron. May you have a happy, healthy new year and the world a more positive attitude," end quote. Another friend sent me an article by Benjamin Fulford entitled, quote, "The 13 Illuminati Bloodline Families Sue for Peace," end quote. Do you see the connection? Most humans say we want peace, yet it evades us. How can we have a more positive attitude when such deception is so prevalent? The Illuminati bloodline families have become very wealthy by creating wars, actually financing both sides. To top it off, many so-called spiritual teachers have pushed a belief system that, quote, "What we focus on expands," end quote, when the reverse is actually the truth. What we ignore expands. And we have segments of society with their heads in the sand, thinking they are somehow contributing to peace on earth. As I see it, only by facing the truth of the reality of our experience will we ever be able to shift into higher consciousness. Quote, "It's just an illusion," end quote, is a cop-out. Yes, nothing is permanent except perhaps ignorance. Hopefully, we will have a real awakening soon and stop ignoring the situation we have to deal with here on earth. Indeed, ignorance is about ignoring something. If we have very serious symptoms, for example, and we ignore them, they can actually get worse. And we know that, for example, if we are developing signs of cancer and we don't do anything about it, the cancer is going to ultimately kill us. Now, you might say, "Ron, but we're going to die anyway. So what difference does it make how we go?" Well, I choose for myself to try to eat as healthy a diet as I'm able to enjoy. And that's the key, able to enjoy. Some of the diets that are recommended, I simply could not possibly enjoy them. I have to allow a little bit of dark chocolate into my diet and other things that I actually enjoy eating, but I do alkalinize my water. I do try to eat as much healthy food as possible, although cheese and ice cream are probably my weaknesses because I like them both a lot and I eat them both pretty much every day. I have some cheese and some ice cream. But in any case, trying to maintain a positive attitude is not a bad thing, unless it also involves ignoring the reality of the world that we live in and the things that we have to deal with in our lives. Now, granted, it's all an illusion. Now, they say that because it's scientifically proven that matter is mostly empty space. I get that. I fully understand how that comes about, just like people use the fact that it's all an illusion as an excuse not to focus on the dramas and circumstances that we are presented with in the illusion. We have to deal with the issue of war. And we have to understand that the issue of war, when we say we want peace on earth, the issue of war comes about because it is profitable. And it doesn't matter if it's war that's overt or war that's covert. There are a lot of covert wars going on on our planet, which is a war for our minds, to brainwash us, to get us to go into our cell phones and to be programmed by the mainstream media and the TVs, and to even change our bodies so that we are no longer natural, but we are artificial creations. They even want to eliminate our normal sexuality and impose a sexuality of confusion, because they don't want it to be about love. They want it to be about just simply reproducing, and they have the capability of reproducing humanity, reproducing humans in test tubes. You don't even have to have human contact. They can create a, quote, human being. I don't know if that's considered cloning the way they do it that way. I would think it is. They're taking the DNA and they're modifying it and creating an artificial human being that has no sentience, no morality, so that it just does what it's told to do and is totally programmed by some other being, and we do not have self-determination. They try to remove the self-determination. They don't want a planet of people able to think for themselves and think outside the box. When I say they, of course, I'm referring to the elite establishment, that the bloodline families that sue for peace. I mean, how ridiculous can you get when they have been the very ones that are, quote, suing for peace, are the very ones that are creating the wars. And again, the wars, they've realized that the overt wars aren't working as well because people don't want that. Human consciousness doesn't want the overt wars, the outright wars. So they do it covertly, again, attacking us in our business enterprises. There was a song, Green Christmas by Stan Freberg, that was like from 1958 or something like that. For the establishment, holidays are not about what we think they are. It's not about the birth of Christ or the death and resurrection of Christ as an Easter. These are all fabricated events that have nothing to do with reality. They are, at best, they are symbols of an archetypal symbols that we deal with as humans, and all of the archetypes are part of our total makeup. We become products of the archetypes that are put out there. But they want to control the archetypes and manipulate them to create a slave mentality that just simply does what they're told and don't think outside the box. I don't think we need to eliminate all the thinking outside the box. We need to have free will. We need to be able to determine things for ourselves. But by the same token, we need to do it in such a way that we're not hurting each other. And again, the elite families, they have no problem with hurting anybody else, because the only ones that should have free will, as they see it, are themselves, because they're the only ones smart enough to make the right choices, which means the choices that give them dominance and power over everything else. That's a demonic attitude. And it's something that we have to overcome on Earth or anywhere else in the universe that it exists. We cannot have people or beings that think that they have the right to control other beings and enslave them. That's the whole issue. I want a more positive attitude for 2018, but I want it to come as the result of actual changes that I can not just believe in, but that I can experience for myself, one of which is to overcome the monetary system that holds me and all of us in bondage to the people that want to control us, to the beings that want to control us, the demons that want to control us, whatever you want to call them. Anyway, that's my message for the day after Christmas for 2017. And I do hope that we have a better are able to develop a better attitude for 2018 that's based on reality and not wishful thinking. Thank you for listening, and namaste.